Good day, sir. My name is Yeoh, Ming, metric number 2711490. Now I'm going to present how robotics affect the employment rate among fresh graduates that are entering manufacturing sector. With my group members Goh Jia Jun, Yi Qing, and Beh He Hong. In abstract, robotics is an area of computer science and engineering. Robotics is the study of the design, manufacture, operation, and use of robots that aims to create devices that can support and help humans. The robotic fields have moved to advanced level and adapted into many sectors that is widely used in the production line in the manufacturing sector. Then it brought advantage to the firm, the society, and the country. And it also affected the employment rate in the sector that usually use the robotic. So the fresh graduate might face the problem that it's hard to find a job. So this is the research will help to determine how robotics affected the employment rate among fresh graduates and what actions that we need to taken. In introduction, nowadays artificial intelligence AI and robotics become more popular in the newest technology revolution. AI also bring the adaptability and learning skills to previous fixed application and proved to be a breakthrough technology for some manufacturing sector, though many more have yet to benefit. Robotics are employed in manufacturing to do repetitive activities, which helps to speed up the process and handle the tasks unrisky. Then employee may grow exhausted even in the short term because of the repetition nature of their tasks, which can lead to errors. There is an impact on specific groups of people, especially the low educational level and the talents. So I bounce to my next presenter. Thank you.
Good day, sir. My name is Yi Qing with matrix number 270607. So for my part, I will present about the literature review. For the literature review, we first look at the general review on robot. So robot is actually an autonomously controlled and reprogrammable and multifunction manipulator. Inside a robot, it contains of sensors, control system, manipulator, power supplies, and also the embedded software that control the action of the robots. So robots can be distributed into two, which is semi or auto, and robot can mostly used in perform the repetitive tasks. Next is the robotics, and also the artificial intelligence AI. So I will explain on the concept of robotics. From the literature review, we found that robotics is actually a branch of AI and is its base is robot. So the combination of AI is into a robot construct a robotics. So in recent years, the robotics has expanded to many fields such as bioengineering, cognitive science, and also the material physics. Robotics can perform well in many tasks as they have capable in mechanical development, they have structure, and also they have shape in mind. In other words, which means that they can think that themselves, and also they are flexible machine they can use in future prediction, task planning, interaction with the world. Next is the robotics and employment. So due to the literature review, we found that when one robotics added, the employment to population rate will decrease by 0.37%. And these implications may be evaluated using variance in the robotic exposure. Next is the challenges of robotics to employability. Regarding the literature review, we found that in 2004, the employment rate is 70.3%. And after the exposure to the robotics in 2017, the employment rate has fallen down to 66.1%. And we found that the occupations, or we can say jobs that is danger, which means that they will be replaced by robotics, is the manual occupations, and also the occupation that is repetitive and also low skill.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Beh He Hong. So I will continue the presentation by presenting the methodology. So in methodology, there will be 5 steps. The first step is research planning, then literature review, data collection, data analysis, and conclusion. So the first step, research planning. In this research planning phase, the topic will be planned out by determining the need for doing this research, including some subtopics such as research background, problem statement, research questions, objective, scope, and significance of study. Okay, then next phase is literature review. In this phase, before starting our research, we will search some articles and journals from past researchers that is related to our topic. The aim of doing literature review is to avoid reinventing the wheel and to carry on where others have already reached. After that, a few methods will be used to do the data collection in the data collection phase, including questionnaire and cluster sampling technique. For questionnaire, it will be designed by using Google Form, and after designing it, it will be distributed among fresh graduates that are going to enter the manufacturing sector. So after collecting all the data, we will use cluster sampling technique to select a few samples that will represent the population of the fresh graduates that are entering the manufacturing sector. Next is data analysis phase. So the main focus will be analyzing the data collected from the questionnaire by doing graphs and charts to have a clear view of the result that was obtained from the questionnaire. And after analyzing, our team will discuss the final result. And last phase, conclusion. And in this phase, the expected result will be finalized and the conclusion will be made based on the data that have been analyzed. And this will show how this research will benefit the society and what information can be carried out by studying this research.
So let us move to the result. So for the result, we have categorized our findings into 4 categories, which is initial idea on robotics, advantages of robotics, impact of robotics on employment, and lastly, impact of robotics on fresh graduates. So for the first category, initial idea on robotics, in our findings, most of the respondents agree that companies should adapt with robotics, which is 70%, or 70 out of 100 respondents. And for the second statement, robotics is the main working labor. So for this statement, half of our respondents, which correspond to 50%, agree with this statement. For the third statement, robotics is more important than humans in manufacturing sector. For this statement, most of the respondents stand in the side of agreeing this statement, which is 29% of them agree and 26% of them strongly agree. Next is the advantages of robotics. For the first statement, perform tasks with low error, 54% of respondents agree with this. And for the second statement, effective production, okay, for this statement, 53% of them agree with this. The third statement, easier to control and follow instruction. For this statement, there are half of the respondents, which is 50%, agree with this statement. And for the third and also for the fourth and the fifth statement, reduce communication problem that may arise in human and also make educated decision. And for this both of two statements here, the number of agreeing this statement is the same, which is 43%, and also the number of disagree with this statement is also the same, which is 17%. Okay, so next is a more reliable. There are 46% of respondents agree with this, and 48% of respondents agree that robotics is cost lower. Next, robotics produce more revenue. There are also 48% of respondents agree with this, and can do heavy and dangerous tasks. Okay, so there are 47% of respondents agree with this statement, and lastly, perform repetitive and low scale job. So for this statement, there are 41% of respondents agree with this.
Okay, so I'll continue the presentation of findings/results. Okay, so as you can see, this bar chart represents the impact of robotics on employment, and under this title, there will be 5 statements included. The first one, labor in the manufacturing sector will be replaced by the robots in the future. Labor market moving away from repetitive, inefficient, and high-risk tasks. Human hard to find platform that can uniquely contribute. Robotic cause job opportunities lesser, and robotics cause anxiety and insecurity of human to the future. And these are all the data for these 5 statements. And as you can see, for the first one, 44 respondents out of 100 respondents, which is 44%, agrees to the first statement. The second one, 47 respondents agree to the second statement. 45 respondents agree to the third statement. 57 respondents agree to the fourth statement. And finally, 48 respondents agree to the fifth statement. So as you can see, for these 5 statements, most of the respondents are towards agreeing the statement. And the last result / findings is about impact of robotics on fresh graduates, and under this title contains 4 statements, which are: robotics perform well compared to fresh graduates adapt easier than robotics, fresh graduates should adapt to new skills that robotics can't mimic, and robotics increase competition among fresh graduates to find a job. Okay, so as you can see, 40 respondents agree on the first statement, 47 respondents agree on the second statement, 54%, which is 54 respondents, agree on the third statement, and last, 48 respondents out of 100 respondents agree on the fourth statement. And in this bar chart also shows that the majority of respondents are towards agreeing these 4 statements. So I will pass to the next presenter for the conclusion part.
Okay, next I will present the conclusion part. In this research, we discovered that robotics is currently being incorporated into many businesses and is quickly becoming the primary source of labor. Robotics is playing a vital role since they may be more important than people, particularly in the manufacturing sector. And robotics is more reliable and error-free at executing repetitive or low-skill tasks. Because of that, robotics can be used to replace humans in dangerous and harmful tasks. And this method of operation appears to be more humaner and putting humans in unsafe situations. Furthermore, the cost of robots is significantly lower than human labor because companies just need to invest more in the early stage. Next, in this research, majority of respondents feel that the robotics will have a negative impact such as causing job opportunity lesser. Besides that, this research also found that robotics will increase the anxiety and insecurity feeling of humans in the future. This is probably because of the labor being replaced by robotics, and especially in the manufacturing sector, where they can replace humans in performing repetitive, inefficient, and high-risk tasks. In aspect of fresh graduates, robotics will decrease the job availability and increase the competition among fresh graduates to find a job. Besides that, in this research, we also found that most of the respondents think that robotics absolutely perform well compared with fresh graduates, since the robot is fully programmed by humans, so that they can perform near to zero mistake when the robot is performing a task. Okay, next is the purpose of research. The reason why we choose this topic as our research is because we want to help the fresh graduates to know about the reason why they find the job difficult, and thereby to encouraging them to express their own advantage to get a job. Okay. Even though this research shows many negative impact regarding robotics affect the unemployment rate in fresh graduates, however, on the other hand, it also shows a positive impact. Although that many jobs has been taken by robots, but fresh graduates can have another chance to improve their educational level or handle a new task. Therefore, they can have an opportunity to get a job. And we hope that this research will be a guidance to fresh graduate and employment. And this may help them to know the situation is going nowadays and guide them to find a solution to solve their own matters. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.